morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live podcast, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about all things North Fork. A couple of things I want to share. First of all, a huge shout out to James Lane Post for featuring us in their June edition. They kind of talked about the whole story and mission of what we do at NOFO Live. I'm trying to find the picture, but I'll tag and share the story. That was really fun. And they have a celebration for each of their launch, which I love. Every time they have a newspaper, which I believe they have 8 papers a year. So a few days ago, they had a launch celebration at Canoe Place, and it was so fun. The Canoe Place is all readable. It was a fun evening. The second thing I want to mention is one of the events that Tracy and I really love, which is coming up next Saturday, the 28th. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
Beach hair, don't care.
I love it. Love it. I was talking about the event that's coming up, which I know you're going to miss because you're traveling, is the Silent Disco at Golden Acres
Oh,
Farm.
I'm so upset. I love that. I
But
love,
I
love,
would
love that.
encourage everybody that can to go to that event. It is such a fun thing. And
Such a fun
basically,
thing.
you get your own headsets and you can listen to whatever music is calling your name that's piping through there. And it's a group experience, but it's still an individual experience. And Tracy, this year they added a bring your own picnic dinner to the farm.
Oh,
So
fun.
it's under the stars at like 7 to 11, I believe. Bring your nibbles. They'll sell some drinks and whatever if you want. But it's a really fun activity. That's
I
really
think I think it's also worth mentioning for people who are, not comfortable dancing, that it's not about like nobody's watching you. I remember your friends were a little bit hesitant at first and they kind of sat off to the side and then they realized like everybody's just like doing their own thing and then they finally towards the end they were jumping in with us
everybody.
dancing like crazy.
Well, you didn't have any of those issues because you see a dance floor and you're in. Kara, I keep trying to accept you at the No for Art Collective, but I don't know, it doesn't show you as joined. So that's
Speaking of the art collective, like where are you? What is that art? Where are your bags put? I'm loving where you are right now.
so okay, this is so funny. I did a live yesterday from No for Style. Okay, because I am going to be doing a trunk show pop-up on next Sunday, the 29th, at the Breeze Hill Farm. So the women that are doing it is like a wellness space. So I just wanted to showcase some bags. So it was so weird because I felt like I've never done a live before when I started. I'm so comfortable with now the Friday. I was feeling like I was like, what do I say? I was like, don't say it's Friday. Don't say it's no for live.
Don't yeah.
So I just set up the table for that. Hey, Kara, I can invite you, but I think, okay, I'm going to try, but I think what you might need to do is turn on and off your phone. I just sent you an invite, so let's see if it works. But if that doesn't work, power off your phone and just power it back on, and then hopefully it'll work. The other thing I want to mention before I forget is the Pride Parade. Another thing both of us
I
are
know.
missing. I'm so bummed about that. Is this weekend, Saturday, tomorrow, from 12 to 5. Again, another event that if you are around, so fun. I mean, the weather, I skipped the weather report today because I don't even know what to say.
I'll give you the weather report.
Oh, please go ahead. We're coming live from Fire Island. Go ahead.
Yes, it's beautiful sun, crisp, clear day, not a cloud in the sky, a little breezy, but gorgeous.
Well, you say little breezy. The waves are crashing over here like
Are
crazy.
they?
I mean, it was supposed to be glorious, which it is, but there's so much wind. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand what season we're in. Are we in
But
summer?
that's you know what? That's a good sign for me because that means the wind's coming from the north, and that means when I hit the beach over there, it's not going to be windy today. But it's a perfect power walking day. After we hang up, I'm going to go for my power walk, which I do every day on Fire Island, which is one of my favorite things. I posted in my stories. It's like I know summer has begun when I start my Fire Island power walks. I'm so
But it's
excited.
so weird. Real quick, Kara, I tried again. It didn't work. So I hope you're powering off your phone and coming back. It's like winter, winter, winter. Then the switch turned on. Then it was summer for a day or two. And
They
honestly,
said, just kidding.
but I can't tell what it is. Yesterday was kind of nice in the day, and then it got really scary in the evening, and there were like alerts and warning, and I was like, "What? I thought it's going to be smooth sailing from here."
You know, that's interesting that you had that weather because Fire Island is it's so separated from Long Island, not physically, but weather-wise, because we kept seeing those alerts like hail, crazy winds. We had a gorgeous evening here. I was on the beach until 6 o'clock. It was gorgeous here.
I kept thinking I'm going to get a beautiful sunset because the day was so nice, but then
Yeah,
as
yeah,
the evening rolled in, so did the wind and the gray clouds, and it was just gone. And I was like, and then and now I'm watching the weather. It keeps saying it's going to be 90 next week, like early next Monday,
yeah,
Tuesday, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know if it is or that's crazy because I tried to go in the water, but the water's so cold still, but the air
yeah.
temperature is so warm. It's like I'm terrified that we're getting to July and we haven't got a summer yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't be terrified. That feels extreme. I think we're going to be okay.
Okay, I hope there's some summer because so far I don't see it. All right, tell us
I think
about
there
your
will.
vacation. What's going
Oh,
on? You're in Fire Island.
first of all, can I tell you, I'm so excited to share the multiple videos that I've taken of Tilly riding her tricycle. So I'm the crazy mom that brings absolutely everything with us when we come here, and I had like all my food and all our baggage, and then I had the tricycle on top of it to the point where the guys at the ferry were like, and I just said, please, 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 let me just take it on. And I'm so glad. You should see this kid whipping up and down. And I will share like the comparison of last year's bicycle to her tricycle this year. And she just, right before we left here, I gave her like a goal that she needed to learn how to pedal the tricycle by herself before we got here. And you should see how she's just like, it's amazing to watch her blossom and learn
Well,
these.
I was feeling that, and I know you shared a couple of. I don't know if you shared side by side pictures when we went to the Hulling Night for the
Oh,
Lions
I
Club
know.
Mattituck Strawberry Festival,
I
because she
know.
took the same rides last year in a totally
Hmm.
different way. And then when you posted that picture of Tilly by herself on that, I don't
I
know what
couldn't
that
believe
ride
it.
is called. Oh my
It
God,
was the
she's.
swings.
I feel like
I know.
she's literally growing up in front of all our eyes.
I know. Yesterday we had some friends come over for the day and they had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, and Tilly looked like physically from behind, the three of them sitting at the beach looked like the 6-year-old. It
Wow.
was amazing. She really they say she's not in her top percentile, but I don't believe them. They said that she's like normal percentile, but she's got long legs like mama.
Well, also, I think she's maturing, and I don't know if it has something to do with being, the only child because she interacts more with adults than, like
Yeah.
when there are
Yeah.
multiple. So I feel like she acts more mature, even if physically she's not just the way she acts, you kind of treat her like she's older than she is.
Well, I've always spoken to her like she's an adult, mostly out of necessity. I mean, it's just the two of us, and I'm like, nope, we got to clean up these toys. We got to put these dishes in the sink. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We got things to do and people to see and places to go. So, yeah, she's always kind of had that. And she's, like you said, she's raised by the village, you being part of that too. She's always interacting with a bunch of different adults, and it's really helped her development for sure.
And you've been traveling a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're traveling again. So this is a personal trip, but we have all of our personal trips sandwiched in between business trips. So between May 19th and July 30th, I have 5 business trips and 3 personal trips.
Oh my
It's
God. I mean,
crazy.
how is it being, and not that I want to go there really, but, oh, poor Kara. Kara, do you want to try from the Carabella account? Because maybe I don't know what to say, because I just resent you the invite again. And I know like infrequently this does happen to people. And I really don't know the reason. For most people, turning off the phone and turning it back on does work. Should I try sending you an invite at the Kara account? Let me see, because I keep getting the same, No for Art Collective is unable to join. So log back out. I like how I'm talking to her, telling to log
Yeah,
out.
no,
Once she logs out, she's not hearing any of this,
yeah.
which I hope she's doing. Oh, there you are. Hello,
Yay!
Kara.
Yay!
I like I like
Yay!
how I'm giving instructions without knowing if you're there or not there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
yes.
That's
Welcome.
so weird. I don't know why it wouldn't go through the
I
collector's account.
I don't know why it happens to a few accounts. And again, this is just PSA for everybody that's trying to join the live. Either update your app before, I don't know if that helps,
Yeah.
or most people say if they power off the phone and turn it back on, Instagram resets and does its thing. But anyway, welcome and good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm good. It's nice to see you guys.
All right, let's jump in because Tracy and I
Yeah.
caught up and chit chatted. So let's jump in and tell for the two people, or maybe the one person on the North Fork that doesn't know the fabulous artist that you are, who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm 𝗓𝗏 𝗏𝗀𝗡. I am a local artist. I'm based out of Greenport right now. And I'm in the North Fork Art Collective, which is part gallery space, part community space. We just opened a little art shop downstairs um, with over 120 local artists. So,
Wow. So tell us a little bit about how did you get started with the art collective?
oh man. So the art collective, the whole idea for the collective really started in 2016. And at the time, I mean, even still, there really aren't many art organizations on the North Fork. I know we just got our first nonprofit last year, so celebrating one summer at the Greenport Theater. But in 2016, there really weren't any art organizations, and there was a definite lack of gathering places for artists or spaces where artists could get together, creatives could kind of talk it out, or at least that I knew of. So the idea kind of really stemmed from me just really wanting to have a place to connect with other artists, other people like me.
Because being an artist really is, I would say, most artists introverts and do things individually. So there really needs to be a space where they can connect. Yes or no?
It's mixed. I mean, we have over 120 artists in the collective right
Wow.
now, and even adding more. And there's even more artists that haven't shown in the collective that are out here. But I think, like, in my experience, it's really mixed. It kind of just depends on the person. I think a lot of artists spend a lot of time in their studio, and once you're in your studio or you're in something, you do kind of
Zone into it.
going
Yeah.
into it, yeah. But for
How
me,
does someone become a part of the art collective? Is there like a screening process or can you just join?
so right now, so the collective has gone through many phases, right? So when we first started, it was me and a group of friends who really just wanted to have a space together. A lot of the original members are current members, like Jeremy Garrettson, 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏, Madison Fender. There's and
All the
every
names we
year,
Yeah.
recognize, everybody
every
Yeah.
we
year
recognize around the North Fork.
what?
I said all the names we recognize as celebrities on the North Fork.
Yeah. Um, so in 2017 is when we opened our first storefront. Um, and I'm actually really grateful to Rena, who has the Weathered Barn, because she's who kind of notified me of this space. And then we all really came together and worked really hard to fix that space. We tore up carpet. We took down drop ceiling, which at the time didn't know had fiberglass in it, so we learned a lot.
Oh,
Many late nights scraping glue off the floor. But
What was the building before?
it was Kate's Cheese Shop.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was our first space, and then we ended up moving to where Ray Design Shop is right now. So we went from Kate's
So
Cheese.
you were on front when you first opened.
Yeah,
Okay.
until 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that, kind of kept growing every year. And also as young artists, our careers were really growing at the same time too. So when we decided to close the physical spaces in 2019, it was sad, but I was also going to do a big residency in Southampton at the time, and a lot of our other artists were doing other things, so it really just didn't make sense. And then pandemic happened, so it was really a blessing in disguise, because if I had that lease during pandemic, I probably would be bankrupt.
Right.
So I think everything happens for a reason.
Okay, so back to my question of how does an artist become part of the collective?
So right now, how you become part of the collective is as soon as you show in one of our curated shows, you're in the collective.
Okay.
So right now we have curated shows. So we've only been open in this space, the historic 𝗙់Gallery on Main Street, for a year and a couple months, December. So January, February, March, April, May. A year and a half, almost exactly a year and a half. And this model, it's if you haven't been in the gallery, and I know a lot of North Forkers have been here when it was Rich's gallery. He had it for a very long time, until he passed in 2018. It's 2 floors, so the downstairs is where our little shop is now, and the upstairs has 3 rooms that are our gallery spaces. So we have curated shows every 2 months or so throughout the year. And I basically just tell artists to send me your work. Sometimes we have guest curators, so then I'll forward portfolios and links to the guest curator. But as soon as you show in the collective, you're basically part of the collective family.
Okay, so tell us, so you have shows every 2 months. So currently you have a show going on. Is it still different perspectives, or is it already a new show?
No, this is actually coming up this is the last weekend for The Other Side, Perspectives on Being Different, curated by Jeff Lee. I helped, but it was originally his idea, and it actually was his curatorial debut. So the collective kind of works in its own way by also offering artists the space to try new things and do new things. So for Jeff, his artwork's actually right behind me, right here. He's a fantastic artist. It kind of gave him the opportunity to try his hand at curating, which he did a beautiful job. It's an amazing show. So the whole idea of the show is that it's showcasing the idea of being other. So it is inclusive to everybody. We originally started with kind of thinking about doing an all pride show, but the collective has so many different members that we wanted it to be open to everybody. So he really came up with this beautiful statement about just feeling other, that can be interpreted in so many different ways. So then we sent it out to the artists, and they sent back all their artwork.
So it sounds like you said, sorry, it sounds like you can be in the show without being in the collective, because you said once you're in a show, that makes you in the collective. So if you're an artist out there on the North Fork, how do you submit your work for a upcoming show?
Email's the easiest. We get a lot, so if I can look back in my email, that's the easiest way. So just nofoartcollective@gmail.com. And I do encourage people to, if you didn't, just, keep resending, because we're always doing so much. And I'm also I'm only here Saturday and Sundays, right? Because I work Monday through Friday and I do my own work. So it's kind of I have to Saturday and Sunday are dedicated to the collective. So I really will go through emails, do all the work that I can for the collective during those days.
I see Maron on here, and I know she's part of the collective and a really great artist. You have so many shows, and one of the ones I remember that I think is one of my favorites is, I don't know what it was called, but it was where every artist had to use a different medium than they normally do. So it was like really
Yeah.
broadening their horizons and trying something new. And Verona has been sewing these quilted jackets and stuff. So I remember she made this, and you can describe it better, bird mask thing, but every artist, even 𝗞𝗿𝗄𝗏, sewed something. So talk a little bit about that and how that show let
So
the artists expand.
that actually was Scott Bludorn's show. So he curated that show. That's a show that he actually started in 2017 at the 𝗙ecie𝗿𝗁𝗀 Gallery. I think was the first place that it showed. And it's called Alter Ego. So I showed in it as an artist in 2017. And it was just like such a fascinating idea. I mean, Scott's a genius. Like, he's amazing. Also one of our original members. And he curated the Alter Ego show, and then we wanted to bring it to the North Fork. So it was the first debut of his Alter Ego show on the North Fork.
And I know normally everybody does know you as a chalk artist because that's where you got your start, if you will, of the
Yeah.
North Fork. Or that's what you're known for. But I think you did photography in that show, right? Because that's something else you dabble in.
So I actually went to college for photography. I got my BFA in photo. So I showed my college thesis, which was very cool to bring
Oh, wow.
that work back. Yeah. Which then went on to show in the library for the women's show.
So you mentioned at the beginning that it's a space for the art community to gather. What other ways are you using the space for the artists?
So we have meditation. We've also had yoga. I offer the space up to any type of like wellness or art related projects. If people have them, they can propose them, send a proposal, and or let me know how they want to use the space. We're working this year to be a nonprofit. Finally. So I think that will like really help us kind of do more of this experiential programming. But I'm really like open to any ideas if anybody wants to do anything.
Okay, talk a little bit
Is the
about
gallery open only on the weekends,
Yeah.
or can you come during the week? Only on the weekends.
Yeah, weekends only, and in the summer we're also open Friday. I did just meet with,
Okay.
I possibly have some new employees, so maybe we'll be Thursday as well, but definitely always Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, talk a little bit about the shop that you just opened because I mean I'm a little biased, but also I loved your whole process of creating that and just redoing because you made a reel about how you set up the shelves and stuff. I can't get over how many different things you do.
I couldn't do any of this without the support of my community and my friends because there are many times I was like, I'm giving up. But I have a really great support system. This community has been amazing since forever. But especially with the collective and us coming back, I wasn't planning to reopen a physical space. We'd been doing some pop-ups and I kept the Instagram and the website live. But when this space became open, it's such a historic, I also love art history, especially the art history of this place, of the North Fork, which we don't really have like a lot of good art preservation happening out here. So 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is somebody that I really still look up to as an artist, born and raised in Greenport, like fantastic. I think everybody probably has a 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in their house. But we wanted to really, like, I wasn't planning on doing this, but then when I saw the space and like felt the energy and knew that it needed to come back in a way, and to be a gallery. Right now in Greenport, we only have one other gallery, technically, 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗃 Projects, which is a beautiful contemporary gallery. We do have a couple like we have the girls have the art studio, and we have
Yep.
Ray, Michael, Aaron, who I love.
I call him Ray all the time too.
Design shop. He's also a fantastic artist. 𝗙𝗏𝗄𝗃 also has her beautiful studio, but when it comes to an actual like gallery or exhibition space, we don't really have as many as we used to. At least when I was younger, there were a lot more. So I think I got off topic. What was the question?
I was asking about the new shop that you put downstairs, because the gallery's upstairs, correct?
Right.
And then you have a gift shop now downstairs. So tell us a little bit about what you carry there.
Okay, so the gift shop idea, I mean, who doesn't love a gift shop, right? Every museum, it's kind of like, I feel like I linger sometimes too long in the gift shop. But really why we added the gift shop was for a few reasons. Everything in the world right now is crazy, which affects artists, honestly. Like it affects art sales, it affects the art market, it affects, where you're more conscious about where you're spending your money and how you're spending your money. And I personally believe supporting the arts is the number one most important thing you can do, because at the end of the day, who pulls people out of the dark places? Artists. But also, unfortunately, it's kind of the first thing that gets like cut or forgotten, So, for us, it has been a slower year than last year, and I really want to keep the collective and keep this space running. So the gift shop is it's a fun project to have like this like museum gift shop, and I love like curating it. A lot of our artists also create a lot of merchandise. We have Amy Zerner, who's a beautiful, fantastic artist from Springs, who has tarot decks and jewelry. Her husband is an astrologer. They work together. They have published so many books. Scott Budorn has a line of tea towels and wallpaper and
His prints are fabulous.
Yeah. But so a lot of artists are also making other things that we can now share in the shop. Carol Young also has beautiful tea towels and wine stoppers, So it kind of gives the opportunity to also share the other creative outlets of our artists, while bringing in more people that maybe wouldn't have come into the gallery once they come into a shop.
Yeah.
They're not necessarily looking for art, but once they come in, then they're like, oh, well, I'll check out upstairs, I'll check out the gallery. And no one has been upset about that.
Well, and to your point, everybody. Sorry, Tracy. To your point, art brings so much serenity and happiness, and if you can't commit to a big piece, then it's kind of nice to be able to walk away with something small that still gives you that feeling and be a part of, creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, you and Kara, like I know even for myself, I always feel somewhat intimidated going into an art gallery because I don't necessarily have the excess money to spend on a big piece. So knowing I could come in and support the artists by buying something smaller that's within my budget, then I'm more likely to come in and enjoy everything that the gallery has to offer.
And I really want to like encourage people to come in. You don't have to buy something. I know we have like a little shop, and I know like we need, sales. But at the end of the day, like in my ideal world, like that's not even something you think about. You're coming in to see the work, to see the shows, right? To connect, like to get a reprieve, like to sit and to sketch, like whatever. You're coming in. I think of it more as like a museum, right? In a way, like personally. But all of our artists are working artists, so like you can support them, of course, if you have the money, time, space. And if you don't have the space, the shop is a nice way to support the collective, to keep us here. Or if you don't have the money, you can always just like it's very simple to like an artist's page, or like share something that you thought was beautiful, or just be here appreciating it. I feel like all that can be like there's so many people who have come in who have spent an hour just sitting up here, you
Well,
know?
it's like free therapy, really, because you do in the gallery upstairs, you do have a beautiful bench sitting in the middle of the room designed to welcome people to come hang out. So it isn't just wander. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know enough about art to even comment on what is put up there. But it's beautiful to just sit in a welcoming, serene space and feel that creativity just awakening inside of you.
Yes, I agree. Art is healing.
And we need it so much right now, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely do.
Okay, Tracy, are we jumping into the live five?
Do it. Okay, so Kara, if you were going to take Sunita and I out for a meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, your choice, where would you take us?
Oh man, there's so many. Um, well, I mean, I have to say Little Creek Oysters, obviously. And now I can literally see their new building from my window, so it's
What a
very,
beautiful space they have created, though. I love the new space. I love the upstairs. It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, they're really like a great community staple, honestly.
Yeah,
And I have to thank Ian for helping to set up the shop downstairs. He really helped me. And Julia King built my shelving. I love her. Thank you, Julia. Um,
amazing.
like I said, it takes a village. It takes a village.
Um,
Yes, it does.
I would also say Bruce and Son for breakfast, which is also across the street from me.
Uh,
They're
yep,
so good. I love
so
them.
good.
is it the
So good.
mushroom matcha latte coffee? Whatever it is, it's great. Hi, Tilly.
She can't
Okay,
hear you because you're in my ears, but
I
say hi to
see.
everybody.
Okay, sunrise or sunset? Where would you catch one in Greenport?
Definitely Sunset. My favorite spot probably is Rocky Point, but if it's like more, if I am hanging out like more public, I would say Low Tide Bar at Soundview.
Okay, question. Somebody asked a question. Would you take drop-offs of leftover acrylic paint and stuff like that?
What? Uh,
Somebody's offering to drop off extra paint and things like that, like art
oh,
supplies. Is that
oh,
something you take, or is that more
oh.
of a MA thing?
I think that might be more of a VEMA thing because we
Okay,
don't do
Yeah,
classes in the collective.
yeah. If
But VEMA, Verona and Melissa, who are also collective members, and Verona was part of the original second year, started second year. They have a bunch of classes there, so I feel like they'd probably be more willing. But I will say, if anybody is getting rid of anything, you can always email me and I can forward it on to the collective list. So, like, if you
oh,
have
that's a great idea. Yeah.
supplies or you know, you have studio spaces, artists are always looking for studio spaces, and housing, but that's a whole other thing.
throw that in there because it is important
Yeah.
to be able to retain the artists on the North Fork to continue to live this life we enjoy.
I know that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Cocktail, mocktail, brewery, or vineyard, where would we find you?
Oh my gosh. Well, nowhere because I work 7 days a week, but but let's cocktail mocktail. I mean, I love a good cocktail from Bricks. Who doesn't? Um, I also love just like sitting at the bar at 𝗙ście and having an espresso martini.
When those windows are open, it looks so
Oh,
cool in there. I love the vibes when the windows open. That's when I feel it's summer, when the 𝗙ście
that's like
Oysters windows are open.
a treat, you know, like that's like a celebratory. We sold a piece and we're going to have a espresso martini at 𝗙ście.
Nice. Nice.
That's fun.
So, when you're cooking at home, what farm stands do you like to frequent and what do you usually pick up there?
Well, I don't really cook,
Okay.
but I
You
have
heard
been
it here,
trying.
people.
I have been trying, and I love the 𝗡𝗿𝗄 CSA. Like that's really been like helping us a lot, or helping me try to cook. All my cook meals literally look like the kitchen sink. It's kind of gross, but they don't taste terrible. So I don't know.
Well,
Um,
you're brave to start with the CSA from Sangli because they grow a lot of non-usual vegetables. So
a lot of it though, you don't have to cook. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's
You could
like
just nibble on it.
nibble it. No, I love Penny. I also love KK's. Like they do a fantastic job. Great produce, great pestos. I love Ira and the whole team. And you know, I mean, for berries, Patty's berries and bunches. I feel like delicious.
Yeah. Well,
Again,
Kara,
no cooking. You just wander in the you
Yeah,
pick and
I'm
keep
really
eating them.
snacking on all the treats. Can I do want to say before we get off of here. Wait, is there another question?
no, go ahead.
No.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
so this is the last weekend for the other side, our current show. We have a talk on Sunday with Jeff Lee, who is the curator and one of the artists. We also have 𝗙𝗿𝗁, whose show is opening tonight at the library. If anybody is around, tonight's a really good night in Greenport for art because we also have a show opening at Aldo's tonight. So Aldo's After Dark. If you like espresso martinis. So 6 to 9 at Aldo's tonight. We have a community show called Out East. We are working on a program with them throughout the year, rotating through all of the artists in the collective to be on display at Aldo's, showcasing
I
like
love that partnership.
locally inspired pieces. Since we are closed Monday through Friday, this is a great way for the artists to kind of be seen throughout the week. And then, sorry, also on Sunday, our talk, so is 𝗙𝗿𝗁, Jeff Lee, and Jeremy Dennis from the Shinnecock Nation, who is such a beautiful soul. So we'll have like a closing artist talk at 2 p.m. on Sunday. So it's
Okay.
a really good art weekend. Greenport tonight, library, 𝗙𝗿𝗁's solo show, We Are Multitudes, curated by Sally, who's amazing. And then stop by Aldo's for our Aldo's After Dark, the Out East art show. That's till 9. And then Sunday, and then Pride. And then we have Pride on Saturday. On Sunday, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's Saturday. This is Pride Parade is tomorrow.
Oh, it is tomorrow.
Yes.
Why did I think it was
22, 26, 22. That's tomorrow, right?
I don't know.
Okay,
No,
Oh,
6,
the
20.
22nd is Sunday. The
Okay,
22nd is
sorry. Then
Sunday.
it is 6 Sunday. Sorry. Then it
yeah.
is, yeah. I had
Okay.
6:22. Okay.
No,
Sorry,
that's
Sunday.
Sunday.
We'll
Pride
tag,
Day is
we'll
Sunday.
put up all these
Yeah.
flyers so we give the right dates.
Pride Sunday.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's why it's also like after the parade you can come to the talk.
Okay. Yeah. So, Kara, we just have to thank you for all the many things that you are doing for the North Fork and making it a more cultural and vibrant community. Obviously, your presence here just raises the bar for everybody here on the North Fork. But tell us why you chose to be here on the North Fork.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but basically after college, I came back. I spent some time in the city. I thought that that's what I was supposed to do, and I worked at a photo and styling agency and did like the whole uh, 9 to 5 business shebang. And at the time, I kind of was like losing my creativity, and I like to swim and walk around barefoot. Like at the end of the day, like I'm happy it's like in nature. And a lot of my personal work is inspired by the natural environment. So it kind of just made sense to come back home. And yeah, I mean, honestly, I love the community. The community is like my extended family. Like it's kind of like, honestly, in some ways, even the family I never really had. So for me, it's like the people, and the nature. Like the natural
Yeah.
mixed in with just like really good people who actually care about each other and will help each other and will step up. And if having the collective or even my own career like has showed me anything, I didn't even believe in myself as an artist. It took other people believing in me before I believed in myself to really even take this step. And I'm always forever grateful to Sarah from First and South, who gave me my first chalkboard.
Yeah.
And 𝗚𝗏𝗄𝗏, who's my mentor, who was like, quit your job, like do this.
Yeah.
So I'm like a very big proponent of like giving credit where credit's due, because the people who have helped me have really like allowed me to create these allowed me to create and help other people, you know.
Mhm.
I think you touched upon such an important point, Kara, at the, as we're trying to wrap up, because so many people have creativity inside of them, but are afraid to label themselves artists. And I had this conversation actually with Michael from Ray Design very recently on how long it's taken him to put his name on the wall, So
I
it is
know.
definitely a slow journey, and having people that believe in you, surrounded by people that, keep furthering you, encouraging you to sort of let that out. It's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there.
Yeah, I will say that is something that I didn't fully realize that the collective is so good at. They last year I think we showed 11 artists for the first time ever, like first time
Wow.
in their career, and some of them, like ended up getting solo shows or dance paper covers, or like there's just a lot of other benefits that I didn't really realize. It's like that are just like spreading far and wide.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Well, I've been following your journeys. I mean, you're so young, first of all. You've done so much in your young life. But you mentioned Sarah, like when you first returned to Greenport and had your camera stolen from your car. And then I remember every restaurant that I walked into, your chalk art was there to welcome people. And it is just so beautiful because a lot of them have still kept it. I mean, all these years later, your chalk art is all over. And now look at you.
Alphonse is the funniest to me because he was like, "Yeah, like we'll erase it in a year," and it's 10 years.
And here you are 10 years later or even longer, it's still sitting there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for creating this space that allows creatives that are not yet calling themselves artists to be able to come in. Beautiful. What a
Yay. And
beautiful
everyone,
space.
stop in this weekend to come see the gallery.
Woo!
Say hi to Kara. Oh, wow.
Little gallery tour, might as well, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so
Beautiful.
peaceful. Like I said, it's
Look at
also
that light
ever
coming
changing.
in.
And every
Yep.
time you go in there based on a different show, it's a totally different vibe and a different scene.
Yeah. Yeah, and then our next show is June 27th. So that'll be actually I'll have a small solo show, and then we'll have a group show in the larger room.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to come see it. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Tracy. Enjoy the sunshine.
I will.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Friday.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.